to get my vest. So this week with Ozzie was a really big deal for him because this was his first time off property, and I was able to take advantage of the obstacle course that was held at the North Atlanta Equestrian, and it was just really, really great. He was so brave. I was so thrilled with how he ended up being for the day. It's his first time coming off the farm since January, and he really does enjoy putting his mind to work. So here I'm working with the noodles, and he's a little unsure here, so I'm telling him to go through. And I had worked this in a progression, so they were farther apart, and then I inched them together to where it was closer together. And he's very, very good at natural obstacles, which is to be expected. But for these guys, the banks going off and going on are really, really simple. So this was a very fun game to play with the umbrella. I haven't shown him an umbrella, so this is the first time we've had this. So I'm just doing the show and retreat, really trying to get him to touch it. I've taught him that when I click to, that means to come towards me into pressure. So you see, I opened up the umbrella, and of course that was a reaction. But for Ozzie, that type of reaction, that flinch, I am quite happy with. His first reaction to everything has always been to run away, which is natural for a Mustang who has lived out in the wild for as long as he has. So I'm just going through this exercise of just walking away, and he's following me, and I'm just opening and closing it, trying to keep it to where he doesn't get too scared, but he's able to build his confidence. And I'm not really trying to push either side of his eyes. I push it a little bit, but mainly keeping it in a straight line. Like I said, for the first introduction, I was really happy with it, and you'll be able to see how he has really learned to come towards things that he's afraid of. This has been very useful, and I've had to spend a lot of time teaching him to come to me, because his biggest thing, like I said earlier, was he'll just run away, which is how he survived. So here I start to play with the sides, and I'm giving him a bubble. It wouldn't be fair to try to go in and touch him with it on the sides yet, I don't think. I'm just trying to build the confidence and let him know that he's safe, especially with an object for the first time. So, but I'm going to, test that bubble on either side, and I had spent a fair amount of time walking around and gaining his confidence and following it first. So tried to end on a good note, and then I always end with trying to let him touch it, and again I send him to it, and he knows he's supposed to touch it. So that was really, really good for the first time, him dealing with an umbrella. And again, we're coming to a more so like a natural obstacle. I've played with kind of, having him walk over mats and stuff, but he's never had to walk over a bridge type thing where it can make noise. But again, the Mustangs really don't mind it. He is very good with his legs. He knows exactly where he is. And again, he just was surprising me. This cowboy curtain, can really scare horses, and he figured it out pretty quickly, that it wasn't too bothersome, and he wasn't too nervous and just walked right through. And this is good trailer loading. This trailer is, wide open, so it's not too claustrophobic for him. He still gets a little worried when it's a little tight, but he is gaining confidence, and I like to load him up both ways. I let him turn around, but really I like to have them load up, and then I back them off as well. I think it's a good tool, especially when you have a slant load and they have to back off. So I was really happy with them. And again, here we have the teeter-totter. He had to kind of figure out his feet. The teeter-totter was pushed a little further up, so it kept popping up before he stepped off, but he figured it out. And there you see the sprinklers. He didn't care. I guess they had spooked a lot of horses. So now I'm back on him and going through the obstacles. And again, he just kind of like, oh, okay, figured it out. I was super happy with him. It's pretty high difficulty for the first time. And he has never seen any of this type of stuff at my house. And he just is taking it all in stride. And we were really kind of having fun together, figuring out the games for him. And this is the best part of working with these horses, is when the rewards happen and all of the hard work of building the trust and the hours of spending the time and having them snort at you. And they don't trust you, but then when you're able to get them here, this is the best part. And we just give him some time here at the bank, and he just was so good. So happy with him. And here I go up the bank and then off. It's a really good exercise for horses. This is the scariest obstacle of the day, was a human. So I just spent some time and let him sit there for a second. And another first for him was going into the dressage arena. And he was very good. Had a couple of horses in there, which, was great exposure. And it's a little bit smaller space for him to canter. He's still a little weak, but, I was able to steer. We didn't run into anybody. We didn't have any big spooks. For a green horse, was thoroughly pleased with how well he reacted. He didn't even look at the flowers. I've had horses spook at flowers, so like I said, I'm just so proud of him and how he was today. He's just super. I also brought Henri, my retired racehorse project, off the track thoroughbred, and it was very interesting to see the differences in the horses. He was quite fresh because honestly he's been a little bit on the back burner with all the stuff I've been dealing with, but again, super horse, super brave, but he just kind of takes things in a little bit differently. He has always been a little lacking in patience, so here with the cowboy curtain, his reaction to everything is to kind of, okay, Mom, I can jump it, or okay, Mom, I can just run really fast through it. So I want him to think about things and, not just take over and like he does there. I'm wanting him to listen to me so we can learn to work together as a partnership. So I do this a couple of times, and he's just a funny horse because he'll throw kind of like these little baby fits, and then all of a sudden his brain will click in, and you'll see, and he'll just go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. And he's a very, very intelligent horse, and almost to the point to where it's just like I have to help engage his brain, and then he really starts to understand, and then he really starts to enjoy himself. So it's just really funny to see the change, and also just the difference in the horses between Ozzie and between him. So here he starts to change, and he starts to relax and stop where I want him to. So I reward that, and we just kind of take a second. And here he went through the bridges, and he did that fairly well the first time, and that's kind of like him, but then he kind of will overthink it or underthink it, or it was kind of hilarious how he was trying to tap dance and really was making it more difficult. And then finally he was like, oh, I'm just supposed to walk on that? Okay, well that's easy. And again, this horse is just so brave. This was his first time in the dressage arena. And he just put his head down and went to work. And, you know, that's the thing, too, with these horses. They thoroughly enjoy working. Once he figures out his job and he has to use himself, then he really starts to improve. I was really having fun. He felt great. I've worked pretty hard on getting him body-wise comfortable. So I've had to do a fair amount of chiropractic work and body work. And he really is starting to come along. He's put on some weight. And changing the muscle, it just takes time on these guys that have been at the track. You know, changing the muscles from galloping to having to learn collection and to carry himself. So here I'm doing just both leads. And he's gotten much better now at picking up the right lead. And I'm really not asking for a frame. I have pressure on the reins, but I'm kind of, you know, pretty open to wherever he wants to be. He has a pretty natural carriage, which is nice. And it was a good day.
What are you doing?
Oh, Lord, you're interviewing me?
It's a vlog. You do vlogs. It's what you do, so do it.
So this saddle was the saddle that I rode in at my first Rolex last year. And we finished, and I say we, it's a team effort with your tack. We finished 17th. It has a special place in my heart because it was the first saddle that went around Rolex. So it's pretty awesome. I am trying to raise money for the trip to Burley for me and Johnny. Burley is a big deal. One, because it's the biggest event, the biggest 4-star in the world. And as far as furthering my career, I was really close to making the Olympic team. I was named alternate for Rio in 2016 to get better as a competitor, and to really go up against the best, I need to go where the best are. So Burley is, but that's Burley. I feel like Johnny and I are very capable, and I feel like if we're able to go and represent, like represent as in, you know, do well, that it would be something for the United States selectors, and to kind of keep that in their mind for the following selections that are coming up, because we've got the World Equestrian Games, which are in 2018, and then Tokyo, which is in 2020. So there is a GoFundMe that I put together. In fact, a lot of people were asking for one, and the GoFundMes are a good platform that give access to people that are wanting to help support. I feel like it's a great way for people to connect, and, you know, basically anybody who donates for me is a sponsor. So it really is about being a part of the team.
Did you say that you're auctioning it off?
Mm-hmm. Thought I did. I think I said, I'm pretty sure I did.
Well, this is all going in the vlog.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
It's all outtakes all the time.
No. Oh, that's
at
not
Wallace
hard to,
eventing.
that's not hard to do with me.